Goodbye 2020, you leaky plastic shit bucket in a homeless encampment of a year. I will admit you ruined a whole lot of people's plans, that's for sure. You gave it to us rough, didn't you, with no lube. And now it's all over, so yay! But it isn't over. A year is an arbitrary measurement of time. January 1st means little, except that here in the northern hemisphere it's still cold, we're still in lockdown, unfortunately people are still dying, and lives are still being ruined by the powers that be. The times aren't good, but is it really as horrible as people think? I'm a man of many interests, and one very near the top of my list is history. I love stories, and history consists of stories that actually happened. History is also a great tool to help put the past year of 2020 into perspective. To begin with, I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong, so I will say this. The vid is worse than I thought it would be, but, and this is very important, it's not as bad as the media wants you to think it is. Especially when we compare it to plagues and pandemics of the past, such as, the Black Plague, wherein a 4-year period in the mid-14th century, 1/3 of the population of Europe was wiped out. 1 out of every 3 people died after headache, high fever, vomiting, and large bulbous sores in the groin, neck, and armpits turned black and burst open, oozing blood and pus. Or how about the Spanish flu of 1918? Where most flus kill the very young or very old, this one attacked young, healthy people at an alarming rate. You'd wake up in the morning feeling fine and be dead by sundown. During its height, 6,000 Americans were dying every day. And besides pandemics, throughout most of history, the odds of dying from some kind of disease were high, a lot higher than they are now. And that's why so many families had a shit ton of kids. Because about 1 out of 4 of your children was gonna die before reaching adulthood. And what about the other big story of 2020, race relations? Is it really that bad? Now, I'll preface this by saying I despise racism. It's the crudest form of collectivism, and I am no collectivist. Also, besides me personally being Celtic and Slavic, I'm also Mexican, Native American, and 2.1% African. And trust me, I'm too egomaniacal to hate any part of myself. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there isn't racism. Ask yourself though, is it really that bad, or does it just appear to be getting worse? And why does it appear to be getting worse? It's because everyone you know is walking around with a video camera in their pockets. Realize that if this were the early 1960s and we had cell phones, you would see a George Floyd-like incident every day, maybe multiple times a day. Think about this. Imagine if people had cell phones when JFK was shot. Back then it was one short film of the assassination. But with cell phones, it would be hundreds of videos from every angle. There would be no question what direction the bullets came from. Fuck, Lee Harvey Oswald probably would have done a selfie while doing it. The reason why people act the way they did this past year, why emotions were heightened, wasn't really due to racism getting worse. Most people don't realize this, even those involved, but really, it was because of the lockdown. You can't take the people's freedom away, especially not Americans, and not expect repercussions. And also, there's this weird condition in the human psyche where we want to think we got it so bad, that life's so rough. Why is this? Because if it's worse than it's ever been, then that makes us heroes, brave and valiant. Because we're survivors suffering through this awful, awful time. When the truth is, people today are really just fucking soft. So in conclusion, my friends, foes, and faithful minions, a personal note. Thank you for the support over this past year. The sect of the Horn God grows, the message of sinisterism is spreading, and it's all due to you. So happy fucking New Year, and don't forget to thank the gods that your existence takes place right now. Because you really wouldn't want to have lived in any other time period.